Wow. Caseload has been above 3,000. Not only are cases rising, but so are hospitalizations, and this is very concerning. 220 patients were admitted in the last 24 hours. That's up from our 21-day average of only 90. Now, these numbers come at the same time that our kids are going back to school. Obviously, a lot of parents are keeping a close eye on this. And late this afternoon, Governor Mike Dewine held a press conference to talk about the risk to school kids. He had some stark warnings for parents and for teachers. Our Amani Abraham monitored the press conference. And Amani, Governor Dewine did not mince words. He had some very direct, strong language for parents about their kids.
Yes, he did, Betsy. The message from Governor Dewine was clear. Our kids are at risk of going back to virtual learning. The governor spoke directly to parents and school officials, saying if you want kids to stay in school this year, they need to be vaccinated. If they're too young to be vaccinated, they need to wear a mask. He says it's a critical time as the Delta variant continues to spread. The governor saying today every single county in Ohio is now at a high transmission rate.
We're clearly well past the time when the state can mandate to parents, to local school districts, what actions to take. These decisions today rest with each parent. But I believe we have a moral obligation to lay out to the people of Ohio, to those parents, those school officials, the facts. And I think it would be wrong. It would be irresponsible for us to not give the parents and school officials the information that we have to help them make informed decisions.
Now, Dewine said Ohio is at the highest level of new cases since February and noted how fast it's accelerating from just about 17 cases statewide per 100,000 Ohioans 2 weeks ago to 236 per 100,000 today. Now, we're going to have more from today's press conference tonight at 6.
It just seems like it was yesterday that he was making the announcement that once we finally get to 50 cases per 100,000, we can take the masks off. And now here we go the other direction. Amani, great information for everybody. Thanks. Well, meantime, as cases continue to surge, conversations about a third booster shot continue. And it looks like it may be right around the corner. Sources tell NBC News that the Biden administration is backing the plan to vaccinate all Americans with the booster, not just the immunocompromised, which was authorized last week here in the U.S.
Senior health correspondent Monica Robbins is with us now. Monica, good afternoon to you. So a lot of people are talking about this third shot, or we probably should refer to it as a booster because in the case of J&J, there was a one-shot deal. Especially they're talking about it now because we're seeing more and more of these so-called breakthrough cases. That's where someone's fully vaccinated from COVID, yet they still contract the coronavirus.
Right.
What do we know about this?
Well, it's very possible those third shots are going to be in arms as early as next month. The official announcement expected this week, and as long as the FDA signs off on third dose boosters, the rollout will be similar to how they first came out, with nursing homes, healthcare workers, emergency workers getting them first. Now, the general population would qualify 8 months after their second dose of Moderna or Pfizer. This does not apply to the J&J shot. Data is still being gathered on that one. The change in thinking is because of data being gathered around the world.
2 weeks ago, Israel they had some data suggesting that the number of breakthrough infections was much higher than what they expected, and it seemed to be growing higher. They started getting nervous, so they vaccinated now 1 million people that are over 50 in their country, and they're watching this very closely. I think some of the early data suggests that it might be effective.
And just yesterday, Pfizer submitted data to the FDA supporting the use of a booster shot. Meanwhile, we're not the only ones considering this, despite the fact that the World Health Organization called for a moratorium on boosters until the end of September because they want available doses to go to countries that are behind in vaccinations. Israel already giving third shots to those 50 and up. France and Germany will start giving them to vulnerable populations next month. And the UK also has a plan, but is holding off for now. But they did just today authorize the Moderna vaccine for those 12 to 17.
Wow, so there's
that's huge.
2 available. That's brand new.
In the UK, yes. Not here yet. Not here yet.
Okay.
Hopefully here soon.
Still only Pfizer.
I got excited for a second.
12 and up.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
You know, I kind of harken back to the wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands days. And as we're laying out the steps and everybody, you know, as we're learning more about everything, you said we could be looking at COVID booster shots, much like the flu vaccine that we get, where they do a little tinkering and a little tailoring every year to try and nail it down, but you get it every year. Is that kind of what it's looking like for COVID vaccines?
Honestly, Betsy, it depends who you ask these days. So some hope this third dose will be enough to keep us protected and we won't need another. Others think as the virus continues to change, boosters will be likely. We do know that Novavax is working on a flu shot, COVID booster combination shot. So I think we're just going to have to wait and see. A lot of this just depends on the virus.
Yeah.
What's the virus going to do? That'll tell us what's next.
Now, I know that this information is constantly changing, but didn't I hear Dr. Fauci say pretty emphatically, with a lot of confidence, that we're not going to need the booster shots yet? Hold on.
Yeah, that was yesterday. No, I mean, come on. Since the very beginning of this pandemic, I told each and every one of you that I may tell you something today and it may change tomorrow. The information is changing almost daily. We are learning new things from elsewhere around the world, too. And Dr. Fauci said we're also watching daily data closely and we're prepared to move quickly if they saw things change. And that's apparently what happened.
Yeah.
They've been watching to see what's happening in Israel, and likely what they're seeing, what hasn't been out yet, is that hospitalizations among breakthrough infections are beginning to rise.
That's
and
worrisome.
That's what we're really concerned about. Yeah.
All right. We're keeping a close eye on what Israel's doing because they were so far ahead of the curve on the vaccinations. Monica, great information.
Sure. Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
See ya.
All right. We have more information now on the investigation into how a woman was injured Sunday afternoon while waiting to ride Cedar Point's Top Thrill dragster. She was hit by a metal object that fell from the roller coaster as it passed above her.
Mark Namick has been following this story through the day today. He has the latest. What's the latest in all this?
Yeah, good afternoon. A police body camera offers some insight into what happened as well as the tragic chaos that followed. A park employee described seeing a bolt fly off the ride, and a patron described a large metal object the size of a cell phone that came off. Here's what they had to say.
There was something like this big that came off, where it looked like the size of like a pop can, or like a pop, like the one in pop cups. Yeah. But then everybody said, oh, it must have been a phone that flew off.
No, that sounds terrible. And before we get to more on the actual investigation itself, do we know anything at all about the woman's condition? We haven't heard much at all on this.
Well, witnesses I talked to today were standing in line just in front of her on Sunday, and they were still there today as part of a vacation. And they said they did describe her getting hit in the head. It's a head wound. They said it was very serious. We don't know her identity or her condition right now. That's something that we are looking into, but for sure she is the main concern.
Absolutely. And, you know, that's a traumatic situation for everybody around to see something like that right in front of you. You think there's families and kids. I'm sure there's a lot of people trying to process everything that happened. But, of course, it all goes back to the investigation. What actually happened? Where do we stand on that?
Well, that's a great question. Investigators from the Ohio Department of Agriculture, which oversees ride safety, we've talked a lot about them relative to Tyler's Law. They were at Cedar Point all day Monday. They were gone today. But the department told me today, Betsy, that the investigation, of course, is ongoing. And today I received photos from those people that I spoke to, and they sent them in and they showed us the ribbon and the markings that the investigators put all along the track and on the cars that kind of identify where there might be some suspicious areas of the track. And I think we're going to go from there. We tried to reach out and talk to Cedar Point today about what their protocol is, because they don't rely on the state. They're checking rides every single day. They didn't want to talk about that or even how their medical response was handled.
Yeah. They do a total breakdown every winter. They tear every ride apart down to nuts and bolts and beyond, and then rebuild them to make sure everything is checked. So it's a pretty stringent process, but there are a lot of pieces parts.
For sure, and I think as Jay said right before the show, that maybe they have to look at maybe building some kind of canopies to protect riders. This is, you know, cell phones have fallen out of cars before, and now parts. So there's a lot more to come.
Oftentimes we are standing in line right underneath these rides, and it seems like it would be common sense, not only from the parts, but also to shield you from the baking sun, which sometimes we all have experienced a time or two. Okay, Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, final numbers are in now, and the NFL draft weekend was very good to the city of Cleveland. The Greater Cleveland Sports Commission announcing today that the draft had a $42 million economic impact here on Northeast Ohio. In all, 160,000 visitors attended the downtown area for the event. That, of course, far fewer than previous years. We saw 500,000 2 years earlier when the event was held in Nashville. Obviously, though, the lower numbers had everything to do with the COVID-19 restrictions that you'll remember were still very much in place when the draft was held in late April, early May. It was also a 3-day commercial for the city of Cleveland, for which you just cannot buy that kind of advertising exposure. The event, which showcased our city, was viewed by more than 40 million Americans over the 3-day stretch. David Gilbert, of course, is the president and CEO of the Greater Cleveland Sports Commission and Destination Cleveland. He crunches these numbers, Bets. He can tell you very closely before an event what they expect and how many people they're going to have come into the city for the event. He did say that, yeah, the numbers were down. We know why, COVID, obviously. But he said, aside from the money and aside from the actual visitors, the event changed the narrative of Cleveland. Because as we were reporting while the draft was getting ready to go, the NFL comes in, they plant a ton of trees in the area.
So many things.
They help parks. They have tree planting gardens. Community gardens were built. And also they come in and they refurbish a local high school football field, make it like brand new. So really, it was a big lasting impact on our area.
And you went back to that, you know, the advertising, the free advertising, if you will. Remember that shot from on the stage behind Roger Goodell looking out to the city?
Beautiful.
It sparkled. It just looked amazing. And I can't even tell you how many people from across the country texted and said, I can't believe that's Cleveland. And we knew it all along. It's just finally we had a chance to show it off a little bit.
One of my favorite shots was when they would put the draft pick and what team was on the clock on the terminal tower. Beautiful.
Brilliant.
Our city, I don't think, has ever looked better. All right, next up, what's new? Technology on construction sites. This is an interesting story with the help of a dog. Kind of, sort of. We're going to show you how Spot is helping make a difference on a college campus.
That is interesting. Well, we also have a health update from actress Selma Blair, where her battle with MS stands. That's ahead in Pop Break. Matt? We also want to keep an eye on what's going on with this forecast. A lot of folks are wondering if they can go out tonight.
Yeah, probably a good idea, especially with the remnants of what was Tropical Storm Fred heading our way. Tonight, we're not going to deal with a lot of rain from that. Just some scattered showers as we've seen through much of the day. A great outdoor dining night. But boy, do we have some moisture on the way, not just tomorrow from the remnants of Fred, but over the course of the next 6 or 7 days. We'll bring you that forecast coming up on the other side of the break.
Welcome back to the program. It is Tech Tuesday here on What's New. We do that every week, and we start with a data breach. T-Mobile confirmed it is investigating a breach.
But they didn't say whether it involved customer data or not. This comes on the heels of unverified claims by an anonymous hacker saying he stole sensitive information from 100 million customers. Well, it's common for self-proclaimed hackers to exaggerate claims. T-Mobile says it's taking the claim very seriously. The company merged with Sprint last year, becoming the second most used phone company in the U.S. Now, if the hacker is going after scammers and scam calls, go for it.
Yeah, have at it. Okay, this is pretty cool. Virginia Tech researchers are experimenting with a robot dog. We showed you going to the commercial break to help on construction sites. It's a little creepy, Bets, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's weird.
Just a little creepy. This is Spot.
Very creepy.
Matt's laughing over there. I know he agrees with me. He's helping oversee a major project at the college. Professors and students use him to study the role of autonomous technology on construction sites.
To see how we can use a Spot to walk autonomously on the job site and take progress pictures.
I think it's the beginning of robot technology being used in our industry heavily.
I think they can enter that robot in the Olympics in was it in dressage?
Yeah.
Remember the horse little prancing deal?
Little prancing.
That was well done. Okay, so the project manager said so far, Spot is getting mixed reviews, and I think I know why.
Okay.
So Virginia Tech is really one of the best engineering schools in the country. Absolutely gorgeous campus. Kids there are brilliant. I don't think they want a robot that could possibly take one of their jobs in the future. So when asked about Spot, they're probably like, yeah, he's okay. Just okay.
I think it's interesting because he can go where people probably shouldn't go, right?
Yes,
and
safely,
so
too.
Safely, you can drop a drone off there or whatever. That's not such a bad thing. I just think it's a sign of the times, and here we go into another place. It's not like the thing is going to be doing any riveting or whatever. And as long as it's not a house centipede, which is also known as a million-legged bug, I'm fine with it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Make one of those. That
when I
really
say million-legged bug, you know exactly what bug I'm talking about.
Yep.
They freak me out.
I do know what you mean. But you said it's not like this one's going to be doing any riveting. They got plenty of robots that are doing riveting.
Too,
and those jobs have been
speaking of autonomy, Apple users, get ready. The rumor mill is in high gear on the company's next iPhone. Reports state that Apple will be launching the iPhone 13 during the third week of September. It's like a month away.
Wow.
According to analyst Daniel Ives, it will provide up to 1 terabyte of storage.
I don't need that much.
That's insane. That's 250 movies, everybody. An average size movie. Right now, the highest amount is 512 gigs. Other analysts are expecting a better chip to beef up the phone's speed, which everybody loves, but there's also cinematic video and basically a version of portrait mode that would then become video.
Ooh, I like that.
So the back focus is a little bit different.
I've actually wondered a couple of times how long that was going to be because the portrait mode on your iPhone.
Super cool, right?
Oh, the beautiful
Helps
pictures.
you get everything. It's kind of like you can do some very out of this world kind of pictures.
Yeah, that make people go, wow, did you take that with your phone?
Yeah.
I wonder what iPhone 26 is going to look
Let's
like.
not go there.
I know.
We got robot dogs
Not
to figure out first.
Not yet, Jay.
Yeah, I'm ahead of myself by 12 versions. You know what your weather word is today?
I don't.
I'm waiting.
Is it not perfect after what we just talked about? Jetsons.
The Jetsons.
Yes, you know the show. I know the show. We love it. Good sound effect, too. Well done.
I only make 2 sound effects. It's Jetsons, and I do this garbage truck thing that my family embarrasses me. But anyway, we'll get that in the forecast, Jay, while you research the iPhone 26 over there. We've got some heavier downpours that have been occurring across northeast Ohio this afternoon. They've been pretty few and far between, geographically speaking, but Lake County saw some heavier rain as this boundary that's coming in from Fred interacted with the lake breeze. Pretty heavy rain over there the last hour or so. Everything kind of calmed down for the most part, exception being down to the south. Everything's going south to north. So if you look down towards your southern sky, that's when you'll see the darker clouds coming in. A couple lightning strikes with this. Live look via ODOT at I-77 down near Dover, New Philly. Look at the visibility reduction down there from some of these heavier rain showers. Lots of moisture in place, copious amounts up above us. So when it rains, it pours. You can see the remnants of Fred still heading northward. This will arrive late tonight and then especially tomorrow during the day for the eastern half of our areas you'll see. But the one thing that Fred is not going to change is that humidity. In fact, it's bringing some of that Gulf of Mexico air with it. So humidity just going to go up from here. So the latest on Fred, now a tropical depression, still over land. Doesn't get much food over land, right? They need warm ocean water to survive. We've got the high cloud shield off of Fred right now down to the south. And as soon as this loads, it'll show you the track of where Fred's expected to go. I guess it's not going to. Right about here, right over Pittsburgh tomorrow about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, expecting that center of circulation to be right over Pittsburgh, PA. So that puts eastern half of our viewing area in play. National Design Hour by our forecasts. As we've seen over the last 2 days, the rain kind of fades at night. Diurnally driven, but we still have the clouds. Watch what happens tomorrow morning, though. Here come the remnants of Fred. Pretty good chill and rain expected. We were kind of analyzing this. We think from I-71 east, the best chance of some of those heavier downpours could be a pretty steady rain. You could see 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, some real heavy rain near that center. Wherever that tracks, we'll keep an eye on. But rest of the area is dry tomorrow. Outside of some stray showers, may even see some peaks of sun. It will be tropical, highs up in the 70s. By evening, remnants of Fred are gone. In terms of rainfall totals, you can see some of the amounts. Obviously heavier out towards the east, could have some flooding issues depending on this track, but out towards the west we're looking A-OK. Kind of looks like the Jetsons when you look at the tropical Atlantic outside with all these spaceships flying around. We've got Grace and Henri. Thanks for giving me the French or whatever nationality that is with the pronunciation with Henri. All those expected to stay away from the mainland U.S., but look at the peak of tropical systems usually in September. So it's going to be an active couple weeks. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecasts. We're in the 80s over the next couple days with rain chances. Our next big weather player will arrive sometime Saturday night, Sunday with a cold front. Won't do much for our temps, though. We're in the 80s after that with drying conditions. We'll be back after this.
Hi, Matt. We're going to be talking about Jason Momoa today. Thank you.
All right, that music means it is time for our daily Pop Break report. It also means that the woman with the coolest sneaker collection that I know is with us.
You got their Chucks on.
Aren't those great?
Chunky Chucks.
I love them. I love them.
Well, this is Kira Cotton, in case you don't know, and she's joining us here at the desk for our Pop Break. Hi, Kira.
Hi, Jay and Betsy. Today we're talking Jason Momoa. Now, when people see Jason, they either think one of two things, either Aquaman or Lisa Bonet's husband. But in this case, he's far from the water and his real-life wife is nowhere in sight. In his latest project, Momoa plays a grieving and revenge-seeking husband who goes after a pharmaceutical company who took away drugs that could have saved his wife, who died of cancer. Now, according to Momoa, the film has action, a lot of heart, and is centered around family. Sweet Girl is set to be released on Netflix this Friday. And actors Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock are officially done filming their latest project, The Lost City of D. And to celebrate, Channing thought it would be fitting to take a dip in the pool on the set of their last scene. Against Sandra's will, Channing stepped backwards into the pool while holding Sandra in his arms. He posted the video on social media, writing, "Well, that's a wrap on Lost City of D. I love this movie so much, I don't have words." And last but not least, we have wonderful news from Selma Blair. According to reports, the 49-year-old has revealed that her multiple sclerosis is in remission. The Cruel Intentions star was first diagnosed with the autoimmune disease back in 2018 and underwent a stem cell transplant and chemotherapy in hopes of restarting her immune system. During that time, she began struggling to walk and even talk and began filming her journey for an upcoming documentary. The emotional film, introducing Selma Blair, will be released on Discovery Plus this October. Selma Blair's story is truly remarkable, and the trailer for that upcoming documentary, the emotion is so raw and heartbreaking. So it's comforting to know that she's at least seeing some relief and, can kind of be at peace, guys.
Very good.
People didn't know any of that was going on, so it's pretty incredible.
She talks about it in the documentary how, being somewhat famous, she was afraid that people would think that she was drunk. It's so heartbreaking.
Wow. Yeah,
it's
I can imagine that'd be a fear.
Yeah.
Back to Jason Momoa. I know you said you think of two things, Aquaman or
Lisa Bonet's husband.
Yeah. I think of that hilarious ad he did on the Super Bowl where he had skinny guy's arms.
Yes.
It was hilarious. It was super funny. I like that.
And speaking of, because we know how people are with shoes, we got to show her shoes, everybody.
Yes,
there
they are.
See?
Those are so cool.
I love them.
Platform Chucks for the win, everyone.
And you have how many pair of sneakers?
Oh, too many to count.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It's a good number, though, believe me.
Thanks, Kira.
Coming up in the next half hour of What's New, the average global temperature for the month of July was the hottest ever recorded. We're going to talk about what that means coming up.
Also ahead, Americans spent far less money in the month of July than the experts expected they would spend. We're going to tell you why more of us are once again hanging on to our cash.
And one Cleveland athlete now has his own cereal. We happen to think it's appropriately named. We're going to have details on that coming up.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
We begin with three things you need to know at 5:30. Late this afternoon, Governor Mike Dewine had some strong words for parents and school officials. He said if you want kids to be in the classroom this year, they need to be vaccinated. If they're too young to get vaccinated, he said they need to wear a mask. He added, we're in a critical time as the Delta variant spreads. 2 weeks ago, cases were about 17 statewide per 100,000 residents. Today, we are at 236 positive per 100,000.
Well, the third booster shots could be in the arms of some Americans as early as next month. Federal health officials and the Biden administration are expected to recommend a third shot within the next 24 hours for all Americans, not just those who are immunocompromised. That is what was originally authorized by the FDA late last week. Those eligible would be looking to get boosters 8 months after their second doses of either the Pfizer or Moderna vaccines. If the third booster is recommended, healthcare workers, nursing home residents, and other older Americans would be among the first to receive those third doses. The White House COVID response team is meeting at 11 in the morning tomorrow to give an update.
And we're learning more about the incident at Cedar Point that happened over the weekend, injuring a guest. Body camera shows a park employee explaining that they saw a bolt fly off the ride. A guest described a large metal object the size of a cell phone coming off the ride. 3 News has reached out to the Ohio Department of Agriculture, which oversees ride safety. They spent all day yesterday at the park. They are gone now, but their investigation is ongoing. Cedar Point declined to talk to us about the incident today or their own safety inspections and ride protocols. And with that, we welcome you into the second half hour of What's New, along with Betsy Kling. I'm Jay Crawford. Bets, today was a bit of a smorgasbord weather-wise.
Yeah.
A little bit of sun, then we got a little bit of rain.
Yep.
Felt like a little something for everybody.
More of that coming. The leftovers of Fred are working northbound. We'll have more on that with Matt in just a little bit.
In the meantime, we begin this half hour with our first top talker, and it is a look at consumer spending. It dropped way down. In fact, way more than experts anticipated over the last month. Here's the numbers. Retail sales dropping 1.1%. I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but in terms of dollars, trust me, it is a huge amount. It's worse than the 0.3% dip that experts had been predicting. The reason many consumers are worried about the Delta variant and are returning to their COVID habits, most of the decline came from car dealerships and parts dealers. Clothing stores, sporting goods, musical instruments, and bookstores also saw a huge decline in sales. Consumers make up about 70% or so of all the financial activity in the United States. So retail sales are watched very closely because it's a good gauge for how we're doing from an economic standpoint. Wall Street didn't like the news at all today. All 3 indices dropping about an average of 2/3 of 1 percentage point. That's a pretty big dip in the financial world. One thing that jumped out to me on the numbers, Bets, and I don't know how they even factor this in, but auto sales really, they provide a huge portion of all of our spending. I was trying to buy a car for my mother over the last 2 weeks because she's now moved back to Ohio. She sold her car in Arizona, bought a new one here. What I'm finding is sales are down because inventory is down.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the tail wagging the dog there, but if there are no cars to buy, it stands to reason that we would be spending a lot less money in that sector, and that sector provides a huge percentage.
That, and then, Prime Day was in June this year. I think that has a big drive on the economy now, because it's not just Amazon that gets in on that. But then you think about also a lot of folks doing their back to school shopping. Maybe they're waiting till August to do that. So June's kind of in this little sweet spot between the two.
I think we just figured it out, Bets.
That's what we're here for. I have more numbers to talk about, and I get to do my favorite thing.
Oh, I know. You're so excited about this. Let me throw my pen over there.
This is all on wheels. There you go. Okay.
Betsy loves doing that.
I do. Can you see
really
everything
does.
okay, everybody? So we are actually going to be talking about the numbers because today the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration released a report that across the globe, July clocked in as the hottest month on record. Now, keep in mind, we are talking about scale, okay? This is global scale.
Yeah.
This is not Northeast Ohio, this is across the globe. So NOAA says the global average temperature of 62.1 degrees makes it the hottest July since records began 142 years ago. Now, there's a few different things that we could throw in there to pepper it with more context and information.
We love context.
I mean, how many thermometers were around the globe 142 years ago?
Yeah.
I know. That's a big part of the debate.
We're getting a much more accurate reading is what you're saying.
We are starting to, yes. But how much has the globe changed in 142 years?
A lot.
Not the continents or positioning, but the people.
Yeah.
There's a lot more of that. All right, so the last record was 2016. Now, some of the areas that are hot spots, right?
Yeah.
Northern Hemisphere. For the month of July, the land surface only portion of the Northern Hemisphere was the hottest that it's been.
Okay.
Asia had its hottest July on record. The entire continental area of Asia. So that's big. Europe had the second hottest July. North America was in the top 10.
Interesting.
That's a lot of heat.
What about us, specifically Northeast Ohio? Hot, cold, where were we?
So this is where people are like, wait a minute, it hasn't been hot, right? We had a pretty cool July. Here you can see the normal is 74.5. Our average for the month of July was 72.7. That's 1.8 degrees below average. Now keep in mind,
that's a big difference.
We had a lot of clouds. We had some rain showers. So we had our fourth rainiest July. Now, this is where I go back to that whole thing I said about scale.
Right.
Northeast Ohio that we broadcast to, roughly about 11,000 square miles.
Okay.
The globe.
Oh, yeah.
I
You have
looked
to
it
look
up.
this up.
Surface area of the Earth, 197-ish million square miles.
Yeah, so we're just a dot on that thing.
We're the littlest dot that could be found on the globe, certainly. But it is concerning in that things are heating up. There's a lot of bullet holes in the debate, I know, but the science is there. The heat is on. So then after that, we'll let the climatologists take over.
And we can likely expect this record to be broken next year or in future years.
Absolutely, it could be.
We're not getting any cooler.
Nope.
All right. Bets, thanks. Coming up next, Mike Polk and snakes. Uh-oh. This sounds like a joke, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He went to South Euclid to introduce us to some unique animals that are actually looking for forever homes, Bets.
And a member of the Browns, he's got his own cereal in grocery stores right now. We're going to tell you who it is and where you can buy it. And Matt, you got our weather in a Giphy.
Yeah, if we had to explain it today, I think we could go back to Jim Helper here looking at the satellite picture of Fred moving into the area, saying, I don't know if we need this. I don't know if we need this. So that's your weather in a Giphy or Jiffy or however you want to pronounce it today. It's Jiffy, says Mo. I would say Giphy.
She says it, I say GIF.
I say GIF too. Betsy, weather team versus producers and
Jiffy
directors.
works, though.
I know. I got to get to break.
But that's part of the
We'll
fun
talk
of
more
it.
about it on the other side.
It's pandemonium in the studio today. We're trying to think of naming cereals for other athletes, and it goes downhill after that. So we need to change.
Who said it downhill there, Betsy Kling?
No, I did not.
I don't think so.
Pointing at Jay Crawford.
I suggested that we do that. Your suggestion brought the house down.
Great. Stephanie, you ready to do pop break?
Yeah, right? Here we go. Okay, Matt, what's the latest on this
They're
forecast?
Clicking. Sorry. All right, let's talk about, we've got some rain moving in, right? We've had some around the area this afternoon, but the bulk of it's going to move in tomorrow, and not everyone's going to see it. Just more scattered rain across much of northeast Ohio over the next couple days. Temps in the 70s, another day below 80 degrees for many of us. The clouds helping to do that. The scattered rain that we've had helping to do that as well. The humidity is here. Some exceptionally high dew points. We're back into the mid 70s in spots, especially areas of Stark County right now. That is some really thick air. That's comparable to what we had last week. And it's not going anywhere. It's all the way up to the Canadian border. We'll continue to bring that moisture out of the Gulf as the remnants, which is now Tropical Depression Fred, continue to head northward. So this brought flooding rains to Atlanta, areas of the North Georgia mountains, now eastern Tennessee. Center circulation now right over areas near the western part of North Carolina there, and that will head towards the north as it heads up towards West Virginia tonight. You can see we're just getting some showers off of it, but the bulk of the rain, this is coming down real good. This will put down some flooding rains in a hurry. That will eventually head north tomorrow is when we'll be dealing with it, especially eastern half of the area. But we're still seeing some moisture out ahead of it, sparking some heavier downpours northern areas of Tuscarawas County now. Strasburg heading up 77. This will get into the Canton area as we get over the next half hour to hour or so with some lightning and mainly just some heavier downpours. As we go through time, though, we should lose a lot of this coverage tonight per your National Design Mart hour by our forecast. You can see how we go mainly cloudy again, scattered showers overnight tonight. Can't rule out some fog once again tomorrow morning. Pretty light winds outside, things not getting too out of control, so likely fog tomorrow morning. Here come the remnants of Fred heading up the spine of the border there between Ohio and Pennsylvania. I was going to say Appalachians. They're not quite here yet, but you can see we've got rain mainly east of 71 as we go throughout the morning. That will continue into the early afternoon hours. Perhaps some heavier downpours. Again, this is a model run. This could be further east or west. Rest of us, as you get west of 71, pretty dry tomorrow. Just more the same with some scattered shower activity. Otherwise, temperatures up near 80 tomorrow. Thursday, we do it all over again with a day similar to today, and then we get these pop-up downpours. Out towards the east, look at some of these heavier amounts. We'll have to watch areas near Carroll County. And then out towards the east, towards Pennsylvania, may have some flooding issues. Temperature departure from average. I want to show you this. We're going to stay above average over the next couple days. Big difference out west. They have a huge temperature drop. Areas of Montana will be dealing with 90s today, 50s tomorrow. They're going to get their first mountain snow. Not coming our way, but there are some big changes out there, and that will drive some of the warmth that you see this weekend. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. Rain chances over the next couple days. Thursday, Friday, just some slight rain and rumble chances. But then as we get into next weekend, or this weekend, we're talking Saturday night, Sunday. Pretty good chance of rain with a cold front around here. Jay?
All right, Matt, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Right now, it's time to see what's clicking in Cleveland, and for that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Hi, Steph.
Hi, Jay. You know, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, right? So we've got our first look at Cleveland Browns running back Nick Chubb's very own cereal today. It's called Chubb Crunch. Now, this is created in partnership with PLB Sports and Entertainment. It's kind of like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and we see Chubb there on the box dressed like Batman, who we know is a favorite superhero of his. Now, part of the sales benefit the charity First Candle. That's a group working to end sleep-related infant deaths. That's a cause close to Chubb and his family. You can buy Chubb Crunch now exclusively at Heinen's grocery stores in Cleveland and on plbse.com. In other charity news, the Tribe's third annual Give-a-thon is on Friday, and we are airing it live, followed by their home game against the Los Angeles Angels. They're hoping to raise $250,000 for two of the Tribe's main charitable programs, Play Ball CLE and Cleveland RBI, to help kids learn and grow on and off the field. The first 300 people to donate $100 or more on Friday will get a baseball signed by either Jose Ramirez, Aaron Savale, or Zach Plesac. You can donate through the link on Sunday through wkyc.com/what's new. And it is on everyone's mind. It is almost back to school time, so whether your kiddos are heading back in person or they're staying virtual at home, we would love to share your back to school photos. You can text us your pictures at 216-344-3300, and you can submit photos and videos through the Near Me section on the WKYC app. You just open the app, it's in the bottom right corner to use that Near Me feature on there. And Jay, Betsy, here's my tip.
Okay.
It's my back to school hack. It's not for the parents, it is for the kids because I don't have kids. If you sleep in your clothes, you get 5 more minutes of sleep time on the alarm clock.
Oh, yeah, I remember those days.
That's what I did.
College is for.
Yeah, I remember those days.
That's a good point. That was my elementary school move, but also a college move.
You learned that early in life, because I didn't learn it until college either.
College, I just roll into anything.
On the Chubbs crunch, I think it's appropriate because he looks like he's a person that does like countless crunches every day. So I came up with one, and I know Betsy did too, and you can share yours in a minute here. Mine is Baker's Donuts. Now listen, tell me you wouldn't eat this cereal every morning, okay? It's little miniature glazed donuts, and you put them in a bowl, and then you put milk on them, and then you eat them as cereal. Would you buy that? I would.
Yeah, sure.
Baker's Donuts.
Sure, I would absolutely.
You got any idea?
This is what we were dying laughing about.
You don't want to share it, do you?
So Jay over here is coming up, Mr. Creativity, right? He's coming up with all of his, well, what about this guy? This guy, he goes, Tito's, and I just said vodka. Obviously, I mean, doesn't everyone have that for breakfast?
That's not actually a breakfast cereal item.
Yeah, I know. But
unless some people may want to put that on their cereal, but that's for the real hardcore.
Stay up late. That's the late night breakfast. That's 4th meal.
If it's in a Bloody Mary, you get vegetables with it. I mean.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe that's how you tie it into a breakfast.
I'm just kidding.
All right. Thank you very much, Stephanie. Just a quick reminder here, by the way, speaking of the Tribe, they're home Friday for a 9-game homestand.
Wow.
So take the kiddies out and watch a game. They open it up against the LA Angels at Progressive Field. If you can't get out there Friday, you're all set because Friday's game between the Angels and Indians, you'll see it right here on 3 News. First pitch, 7:10. Next on What's New, Mike Polk takes us to South Euclid. He's going to introduce us to some unique animals looking for forever homes.
Oh, my word. Plus, our Show Us Something Good made my heart melt. I hope it moves yours as well. We'll be right back.
Oh.
Oh, when you think about adopting a pet into your family, chances are you're probably picturing a cuddly little dog or a cat, maybe a rabbit if you're feeling a little adventurous.
But believe it or not, reptiles are increasing in popularity in the United States. In fact, families in the United States 4.5 million of them say they have a cold-blooded friend in their home as a pet. But there aren't many places where you can actually go and adopt a snake or a lizard or a turtle. And that's where one unique local rescue comes in. And who better for the job? Mike Polk.
Clear the Shelters is a great program that works. And why wouldn't it? I mean, really, how hard is it to get people to adopt adorable cats and dogs? Just look at them. And it's even more effective if you guilt people by putting heart-wrenching music behind the visuals. See? But cats and dogs are not the only adoptable pets on the scene. For example, this guy could use a good home. So could this pretty lady. Or maybe your life has been missing this fella. If so, he's waiting for you right here at Herps Alive, a nonprofit located in South Euclid. I sat down with the foundation's executive director, Keith Gisser.
We specialize in taking in unwanted, neglected, abused reptiles, rehabilitating them, and then finding new homes for them when possible.
How many places in Cleveland do that?
That would be us.
You're the only guys doing this. How many animals do you have here?
We have about 350 animals here total, and we're an all-volunteer organization, so we do it with a group of nearly 100 volunteers.
Who are your biggest consumers and shoppers demo-wise? I'm thinking like stoners, rappers, who else is getting...
Families.
Families.
You believe it or not.
What do you think makes the best pet?
Bearded dragons make great pets. They're a desert lizard from Australia.
Who is this ravishing beauty?
So this ravishing beauty is Drogon. He is one of about 8 or 10 bearded dragons that we're going to have available through the month of August. They thrive on handling. They like the warmth of our body. Being from the desert, they eat both bugs and veggies.
Not picky.
Not picky at all.
You're not a picky eater. You like warmth and cuddling. Seems like the perfect pet.
Perfect pet. And then among the snakes, the corn snakes and the ball pythons are probably the two best that I would recommend. They get about 4 feet full grown. They stay very manageable. And then this guy here is what they call a banana ball python. You can see the yellowish coloration.
Personality-wise, what are we looking at?
Very docile animals. This is why they're called ball pythons, because they tend to roll up in a ball. These guys are very well acclimated to humans, so they're very easily handled.
These guys don't have names yet, or they do?
These guys do not have names.
They don't have names yet, so that could be up to you.
And the one thing about reptiles is that generally, even if they have names, they don't come when you call them.
I'm going to call you Felicia. I'm going to call you the Commodore.
There we go. Felicia and the Commodore, available for adoption from Herps Alive soon.
How can people help out?
Well, right now we're trying to raise funds to buy our building. They can certainly donate, and you can go to our Facebook page to get information on that. As I said, we're always looking for volunteers.
Sincere thank you for the work that you do. We're glad you're doing this for the area. Thanks for taking care of the animals that everybody doesn't always necessarily think to take care of.
Oh, we appreciate you coming in.
Reptile ownership is not everyone's bag, but if you're a warm-hearted person looking for a cold-blooded pal, there's a place in South Euclid that would be happy to help you out. And if you're still on the fence, please allow us to tug on those heartstrings just a bit to seal the deal. Okay, guys, I'm here with Keith now, and we're with our friend Rasputin, who is clearly a snake, right, Keith?
Incorrect, Michael. This is actually a European legless lizard.
Oh, I thought that was a European legless lizard, now that you mention it. So why did this thing never get around to growing legs?
Well, actually, it had legs, and then at some point through evolution, actually lost them. They spend most of their time underground, so legs get in the way if you're a burrowing animal. So it makes more sense not to have them.
I guess that's true. So you have all kinds of unique animals like this here, and what else do people need to know before they come down?
Well, the biggest thing is just to have a basic idea of what if you're looking for a specific animal, don't get any animal, whether it's a reptile, whether you're looking at dogs or cats. It's not a spur-of-the-moment thing. It's a commitment, and that's the most important.
You hear that, Betsy and Jay? Think about it before you buy a legless lizard.
I definitely will put some thought into it. You know, Mike, I'm just sitting here thinking your cat needs a friend, and I can't imagine a better friend than a legless lizard.
Can you imagine like a cat-sized lump in the middle of that lizard right now, where my cat would be in probably a week and a half?
They would be very good
That's
friends.
all right though. But this is a place where you need to come down and take care of some of these animals that other people don't take care of. So thank you for what you do. Seriously, Keith.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming out and helping us tell the story.
Well, if folks do want to help out, this year's Clear the Shelter starts August 23rd, runs through September 19th. We have 20 local rescue groups and shelters participating. In 2019, 399 pets were adopted in one day. More details will be coming soon to WKYC.com. Keep a lookout for that. Still ahead for us parents, you know how sweet it is when you come home to a little surprise from your kids. We're going to show you what one of my daughters left for me last night in our Show Us Something Good.
Hello, hello, hello. Testing 1, 2. Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Russ Mitchell, and I'm Laura Queso. As we begin tonight, the governor focusing his message.
Today's show is Something Good comes from my youngest, Violet. Many of you know I work late nights, so I don't really get to put the girls to bed. But last night I came home and found this on the counter where I always put my stuff down. It is a love, 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 Mom, a little book. And she, of course, drew the picture. There's her and me with some clouds and all that stuff. So I'm sure all parents get this kind of a thing, but I just wanted to share. I posted on my Instagram feed at Betsy Kling, and I was astounded how many people commented. And then I posted it to Facebook, and so many people have too. So thanks to everybody.
We all love that stuff. Yeah. Thanks for watching. We're back tomorrow at 5. We hope to see you then.
What Matters Most with Russ and Laura starts right now.
Now at 6, COVID's perfect storm.
Today in Ohio, we are facing a perfect storm. Just as our kids are back to school, the new Delta variant is sweeping across our state, taking direct aim at all those who are unvaccinated.
Governor Dewine makes a plea to